Hello everyone, it's Ashley with Amare, owner and founder of Amare Healing Arts, Plastic Surgery Recovery Center, and Holistic Clinic, specializing in manual lymphatic drainage. We have 2 locations in New Jersey, Highland Park and Elizabeth, and I also offer virtual consults. If you're not in New Jersey but still need help with your recovery, you can give the office a call at 732-841-0142 to set up your sessions. We have our post-op shop where we offer post-op supplies like lipofoams and BBL pillows, and I teach you guys how to use those products with the videos that we have on our product page. That's amarepostopshop.com. We also have our online courses where I teach you guys what massages you would need after plastic surgery, when to get your massages, who to get them from, what the lymphatic system is, what lymphatic massages actually are, and all the research that you would need on your post-op massages and finding a lymphatic therapist. All of these links are in our bio as well as in the description boxes, so you guys can go and check that out. I will see you guys soon. Ashley with Amare. Bye. Hello everybody, Ashley with Amare. So today we're going to talk about something. So liposuction, right? We know that they go in there and take out the fat. You guys need to really talk to your surgeons more, either like before and after your surgery. So we're going to talk about today the difference between regular liposuction and high definition liposuction. So as we know, I have my high definition body sculpting textbook. We're going to pull from this today. We are also going to pull from an article on plasticsurgery.org. It's plasticsurgery.org/high definition liposuction versus liposuction. What's the difference? So there actually is a difference. Regular liposuction is where we're taking out fat, right? So from everywhere. So think about a block of marble, right? We're trying to make it into a cylinder. So regular liposuction is going to make that block of marble into a cylinder and just shave off the excess pieces so that that cylinder is nice and round and even all the way. So when you're talking about your body, the extra pockets of fat, so your lower abdomen, your flanks, your back, your bra roll, we're just taking those off, keeping your contour and shape pretty much similar to what it was and is. We're just shaving off all the extra. High definition liposuction, we're doing that, and then we're taking a little bit more closer towards the skin, a little bit more in certain areas to give you more contour and more shape. So it's exactly that. It's making your body high definition. So we are defining certain areas, certain muscle groups, things like that. Not every surgeon is skilled in high definition liposuction. It's an art. It's an art form, and you have to use a special machine for it, a lipo machine. So I am going to do a video on the difference between all the different kinds of lipo or techniques or machines that are used. High definition is kind of a whole technique in itself. When you hear something like Lipo 360, that is just a term, a plastic surgery term like fupa or dog ears. Lipo 360 just means that you're getting lipo 360 around your body. But when you hear something like Vaser lipo, smart lipo, water assisted lipo, power assisted lipo, we're talking about the method that we're using to take the fat out of your body. So regular lipo, power assisted lipo versus Vaser lipo, which we're going to get into because Vaser lipo is used most commonly for high definition liposuction. So let's get into this article. What is high definition liposuction? So let's read what regular liposuction is first. Traditional liposuction is a surgical procedure designed to remove pockets of stubborn fat to improve size of a specific area like the stomach, hips, or thighs. Typically, traditional liposuction removes fat evenly across the treatment area for a sleek look. So that's the key word there, is traditional liposuction evenly takes the fat off. Remember that big square block of marble? We are evenly taking off those pointy corners so that it's nice and round. High definition lipo uses similar techniques to traditional lipo. Various cannulas, the rod that goes in you to get the fat, are still used to suction fat. The procedure can be performed with manual cannulas or power-assisted devices to combine with energy-based devices or in combination with energy-based devices. So again, regular liposuction is just a cannula. There's no vibration, there's no extra stuff, there's no energy, there's no heat, there's none of that. So it's just going in there, and the surgeon's got to do this to cut the fat and have it pulled out, right? So with high definition, we're using it in combination with energy-based devices. So heat, energy, like frequency, or light, so things like that. So vibration, light, all of those things, which we'll get into. High definition liposuction involves surgeons approaching the fat removal process differently from traditional techniques, precisely sculpting the treatment area to improve its contours and muscle definition. So your surgeon that's doing this high definition liposuction really has to know the muscles and the anatomy. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. This whole book, this whole textbook is a surgeon textbook on high definition liposuction. And there's a really great picture in here that shows, first of all, the first half of the book is just all about anatomy, the whole thing. But it really, really shows where we're sculpting. So, like, let's look at the bottom of the thigh here. And we'll get into the abdomen later because it's easier to see. But if we're looking at the bottom of the thigh, there are certain areas that are colored, certain areas that we're going to sculpt a little differently, because what we're trying to do is enhance the shape of your muscles. So we're basically taking out fat from those areas a little bit more so that the muscles poke through a little bit more. But it's not just done like all over. It's tracing those lines. It's called creating negative space, which we're going to get to in this next part. Okay, so the idea behind high definition liposuction is to remove different amounts of fat in specific areas of the body to create three-dimensional results. So exactly what I was just saying. We're not just taking out extra fat from over the muscle. We're actually taking fat in certain spaces and areas and in certain ways. If you want to think about it, and I know it sounds gruesome, but think about it as carving around the muscle or carving the lines. I know you guys have seen the things on Instagram, which we will get to at the end, where people wind up with tic-tac-toe boards on their abdomen that is not where their natural muscles are. I have a picture of that on my Instagram where it looks off-center. It doesn't look like the natural musculature. Now, granted, guys, your muscles, there's supposed to be variation. Dr. Alfredo Hoyos talks about this a lot, the guy who wrote this textbook that I met at the conference that I was really lucky to speak with about this and sit in a couple of his lectures. When you're talking about the muscles, they're not like how they are in this book. They are not just straight up and down and that's it. Everybody's muscular anatomy is different. So your abs, that they may be like this. They may not be perfect in a straight line down your body. His Instagram, he's got a lot of good pictures of that and talks about that on his Instagram. So if you guys want to go check him out, he's amazing. But fat is also removed in various layers to create the patient's desired contours. So exactly what I was saying, they'll go in, they'll do that even sculpting first, then they'll go a little bit more superficial, so a little bit more closer to the surface of your skin to remove extra layers in various ways and various lines to contour to your natural musculature to get it to be high definition. So This is what I was saying. In the abdomen, for example, negative space is created by removing additional fat between the stomach muscles groups to create the appearance of more defined muscles. So we're not taking the fat out from over the muscle. We're going in the areas in between so that when they heal, your muscles show through more, creating that defined appearance. So when we're looking at that, we're looking at this picture right here, right there, that thing. So all where the purple is where the lipo and the definition is going to be. And then on the obliques, same thing. And then up here, same thing. So the light purple is the transition zone, which is where, if you want to think about it as like kind of the regular lipo, or like where it fades, if we're sketching, right, where it fades into the high definition, the negative space is where the high definition is being done. So that's all this dark purple that we're really, really sculpting here. So when you're talking to a surgeon about this, This is why I'm doing this video. You guys have to understand what you're asking for. Not everyone wants full-blown abs. Not everyone wants a six-pack, especially if you're going more for a sleek, defined, natural look. So more fat is suctioned in the areas of negative space, like I just said. They do a little bit more work. Less fat is suctioned in between the space or the transition to create the illusion of a three-dimensional depth. Horizontal lines, like we just saw, these are horizontal lines in that picture, between the rectus muscles also give the definition and appearance of a six-pack. That's where we're going to stop with this article because that's pretty much all the useful information. We're right at the end. But let's talk about this. So when you're going into your surgeon's office, you're going to say, okay, here's my wish pick. This is what I want to look like. Again, sometimes you want a flat stomach, just flat. Maybe you just want this little line down the middle and these two lines on the side where your muscles are to be a little bit more defined. But that doesn't mean you want high definition. And there are levels. There are lots of levels to it. So high definition doesn't just mean you have to have a six-pack and get fully sketched out all the way, or you have to have regular lipo where you've still got that even smooth shape but no definition. This is where it comes in with your surgeon being an artist, is that they can do definition in certain areas, in certain ways, at certain degrees, rather than giving you a full-blown six-pack, which may not be something that you want. I know everybody gets really upset at their surgeon when the surgeon says, and this is where the miscommunication comes in, the surgeon says, oh, do we want to do some high definition lipo, like give you some abs? And you're like, oh yeah, sure. His idea and his expertise of high definition and giving you abs or ab etching is different in your head than what you think abs is. So talking to your surgeon and being like, okay, how is this actually going to look? How much? Am I going to look like I'm doing CrossFit all day and I've got like sketched out abs? Or am I going to look still soft and natural with curvy abs? We've seen those pictures on Instagram after lipo where they do have that nice contour to their abs, but you can't actually see the ab muscles poking through. So that's the first thing, is talking to your surgeon and asking, okay, yes, I would like some contour and definition to my abs, but how extreme is that going to be? Or how subtle is that going to be? The second thing that you guys will get ab etching. They'll say, oh, I'll throw in a little ab etching, give you a little contour. You'll get a little bit of high definition. And then as you're healing and your swelling comes down, because never in your life have you seen your abs, you're like, oh my God, what are these two pockets of fat sticking out of my stomach? And I'm like, those are your first two abs. These are your second two abs. These are your third two abs. That makes your six-pack and then your V. And you're like, I've never seen these before. I think it's a pocket of swelling. I think it's a pocket of fat. When I look down, I can see two little bulges. Those are your first two abs. And I have to show you guys my abs, make you feel them. And then, of course, you guys are pressing so hard into your body and you're like, it's so hard. Is it fibrosis? And I'm like, no, it's your regular muscular anatomy. That's how it's supposed to be. And I pull out my book and I show you and you guys feel and then you understand, oh, okay, yeah, those are my abs. Okay, that's what I wanted. Or you get really upset because you thought you were going to have abs, but it was going to be like flat. The reason they call them washboard abs is because they ripple like a washboard does, like an old school in the bucket washboard for clothes. That's why they call them washboard abs. If we're doing high definition, we're going for, super high definition washboard abs. If we're doing a little bit of ab etching, we may just be going for a little shape on the abs or contour so that we can see them, but they're not poking through and you're still flat. Or we're doing regular lipo where you still have a little bit of fat covering your abs. You can see that you're toned, you can see that you're slim, but you can't actually see the abs themselves poking off of your body. So that's why I'm doing this video today, because in the healing process, which we're going to get into next, you guys start freaking out because you're seeing things in your body and feeling things that you've never seen or felt before because there's been all this fat on top. Maybe you work out really, really, really hard and you feel the strength of your abs, and when you press in, you can feel them, but there's all the squish on top of that. And then when the squish is gone and then there's no swelling or fibrosis and you actually feel and see them, you're like, what is this? I didn't ask for this. It's your body. It's under there. So let's talk about the vaser thing itself. So, I know it's in this article somewhere. This is the rest of the article, but there's a second section. Okay, so high definition liposuction is often performed with the use of vibration, amplification, sound, energy at resonance, VASER. This involves using ultrasound technology in the cannula to break up the fat so it particleizes and melts and loosens all the fat. Think about a Nature Valley bar before it's crumbled, and then vaser is when it's crumbled. And it's all like granulated and moving around and free floating in there. To break up the fat and make the extraction process safer and more precise with less physical work needed by the surgeon. It also allows, this is important, it also allows the fat to be suctioned superficially to the skin, so right under the skin or closer towards the skin, which is necessary for high definition results. So again, high definition lipo is in layers. It's technically lipo in layers if we want to think about it like that, right? So we do the first layer, we get all the corners off of that big block of marble. That's the regular lipo. Then we start doing areas a little bit more, shaping, wearing it down so we get a little bit more. And then in those areas, wherever we want definition, we're going to go in there and we're going to carve out little pretty flowers in that marble. So now you have a vase. The bottom of the vase is the regular lipo. The top of the vase is the regular lipo. In this part is where we did like the transitioning, right? Because we're transitioning into that neck of the vase. And then in the vase, we're doing those little detailed flowers, high definition. So if you want to think about it like that, that's a cool analogy. High definition liposuction does have a steep learning curve, so it's important to choose an experienced board certified plastic surgeon to perform the procedure. So again, a couple things just to recap. High definition liposuction is lipo in layers. So we're doing the regular shaping and then the detailed work with the other cannula. So when they do the lipo, they may use a different cannula, they may use the same cannula. Lipo device, cannula, rod, right? But they're definitely using vaser, right? So that ultrasound, vibration, sound energy at resonance on the cannula for the lipo. They're doing that, right? So that helps get everything out. They're also then using that to sculpt the other layers. So they go here and then they come this way and this way, closer to your skin to get that definition and contour. So when we're doing that, we're not talking about one layer of healing. We're talking about several layers of healing and several layers of swelling. You're not just talking about where the fat was taken out in the tissue. You're talking about several layers of, if you want to think about it, deeper work being done, even though it's coming closer and closer to the skin. Deeper work being done. What does that mean for your swelling and healing? Well, first of all, because vaser does particleize that fat and make it easier to take out, it's less aggressive. That's a whole different video. But it's less aggressive as far as the tissue damage to the body. Second of all, when you have a surgeon who knows what they're doing as far as the sculpting, you're not going to wind up with a tic-tac-toe board. You're going to wind up with a surgeon that knows your musculature, can see your musculature, map it out, and not just go crazy closer up to the skin, carving things out, but actually take the time to do precise areas of lipo to give you that high definition closer to the skin. So you're talking about the first layer of lipo and then all the swelling closer to the top of the skin where you're going to have all of that. So when we're talking about healing and manual lymphatic drainage, yes, you're going to have a little bit more swelling than regular lipo because you had a little bit more work done. So there's that. You're going to need a little bit more massages on top of that. So when you are in your garment, you may have seen or experienced the thing where people who get ab etching done or high definition lipo done, their nurse or them or whoever, when they're doing their aftercare, they have plastic rods taped to their body where the definition was done to give them more compression in the area where more work was done. Yes, compression is going to need to be a little bit different, but putting something hard against your body, I have several videos on fibrosis. I have several videos on boards. I have several videos on waist trainers and how things that are hard against your body while healing will cause fibrosis. Let's just think about this really quick. Picture a tree and there's a sign nailed to the tree. And we've seen this in nature, and if you haven't, Google it because it's really cool. The tree over time will start to grow over the sign and start to swallow the sign. Your body healing will start to heal around the rod or around the pencil or around the thick strips of foam that you have taped to your body. That tape that's holding it there will also affect how you're healing. So healing these high definition areas, as far as getting the swelling out, manual lymphatic drainage, because your body from the inside is sucking the swelling back. We're not pushing into the body. Pushing into the body will create more tissue damage, will take longer to heal, will start building up fibrosis because the lymph fluid and the swelling gets trapped underneath or around, like a tree, right? Eating a sign, around that pencil and start to harden. So we want to stay away from all of those things. But we do need to do a little extra work in those areas. As far as sticking things to your body, pushing in, or taking your thumbs and raking through where the definition was done because it's swollen, extra swollen than the other areas, will break tissue, will cause damage. We should not be doing any of that. No, ever after surgery. You get a cut on your hand, maybe like 2 weeks, whatever. Let's say you have stitches. 2 weeks after you get stitches, you're not going to take your thumb and rake through that thing to try and get the swelling out. We're not doing that in this area, especially in the high definition area, because we did have more work done there. So we're going to already have more tissue damage there. And by doing anything aggressive like rollers or raking your thumbs through there or pushing a deep pencil, like a pencil deep into that groove and taping it there and then putting on a compression garment, which is really tight, digging that pencil into your body, anything that's causing that deep digging pressure is going to cause more trauma to the tissue that is trying to heal, is going to cause more swelling. And whatever swelling's there is going to start to harden around that object or harden where you broke the tissue with your thumbs. So you do have to be very, very delicate with how you're treating your body after high definition liposuction, because again, you are having those other layers of healing that are going to happen from those other layers of lipo that were done. We want them to heal properly. So manual lymphatic drainage, this gentle pumping motion done to the skin. And now when you're working with an MLD therapist, I'm not talking about post-op body contouring, cavitation. I'm not talking about any other kind of post-op massage. Talking about manual lymphatic drainage massage. So when we're doing this gentle pumping motion, right, we have areas that are more swollen than others. The way we're going to change how we work is a little bit different. How we're going to reroute the fluid is going to be a little bit different. And the areas that had less work done will heal faster, right? Areas of lower concentration will heal faster. Areas of higher concentration will take a little bit longer because there's a little bit more tissue damage and a little bit more swelling. So the goal is not to try and dig your finger in there, force the fluid out, use any kind of craziness on your stomach or your high definition areas. The goal is to do a little bit more work as far as getting the swelling to resolve in those areas, and it's going to take a little bit longer. So all the areas of lower concentration, that like, let's say first layer of lipo, right? The lipo that just evens you out, that's going to be the thing that swelling comes down in first. You're going to see your results there first. And then the areas where you have the ab etching done may take a little bit longer to show because your skin will not retract around swelling. Your skin and your tissue will not fully heal if there's swelling and fibrosis in there. So as we get that swelling out, then you'll see your definition. But we had a little more work done there, so it's going to take a little more time for it to heal and a little bit more time for the swelling to go away. So those results may take a little bit longer to see. But when we're talking about working with an MLD therapist and swelling, we may want to work a couple sessions just in those high definition areas after opening up all your lymph drains going right there after all of the other swelling has been cleared out. So you may have what I like to call puddles. So we start with our swelling as one big ocean. There's fluid all over. It's one big ocean. As you start to do your MLD massages, your manual lymphatic drainage, your body starts draining that sea, right? So as it drains the sea, we start seeing all the areas where the deeper areas of the ocean floor, right? The areas where deeper work was done, where more work was done, we'd start to see the baseline, the first level of lipo, the baseline of the ocean, but then we're seeing those caverns and those deep areas, right? And all the while, the skin is retracting. So if you just had one layer, skin would retract flat to the ocean floor. But we have these caverns that we just made with high definition that are still filled with swelling because we're draining the sea, right? So as we get down to this, our focus may now be just in those high definition areas after we've gotten all the sea level down, because now we can see where those puddles are or those caverns where more work was done, where more swelling is. So then we start working in those areas and we get those down and the skin starts to lay flat onto those caverns, and this is how you get contour. So now that the skin is at the baseline of the cavern, this up here is where sea level is. Now you have negative space. Got it? So this is where your contour is, your high definition, which means doing your MLD massages is going to get the sea level down, and then we've got to do a couple extra to get into those caverns to get the swelling out. Now, when I say get into those caverns, I do not mean get my fingers in there. I mean let your body process out the swelling from those caverns. Because I know when I say things, you guys take them so literal. We're not digging anywhere. We are simply doing this gentle stretching motion of the skin. I don't know if you guys can see this. We're gently just stretching the skin. That's it. Gentle pump to have all of those vessels dilate so that they open up and suck fluid back away from your skin. Now again, next point, sucking fluid away from your skin. Those puddles you will see on your abs, which is also what totally screws you guys up, is you're like, oh my God, I had high definition liposuction here. I'm supposed to have abs, but this just looks really swollen. And you will. In those areas, you'll have little puddles, right? Little patches of swelling. But then I get those out, and now you're seeing the bulge of your abs, and you're like, oh my God, I still have swelling. What's going on? Or you were using a pencil or something, a roller, digging fingers, whatever you were doing, and made some fibrosis, and it was hard. Fibrosis went away, swelling went away, and now it's flipped. It's the opposite. That negative space is now empty, but you're seeing your abs now. And you're like, oh my God, I still have a puddle of swelling here, and there's still fibrosis. What do I do? And I'm like, no, it's flipped. It's not there anymore. This is your actual abs. That's where you guys kind of get confused, is because those areas are more fragile, will be more susceptible to fibrosis, and will have a little bit more swelling. So you get kind of used to that, and you're so paranoid about it in your head that when it's gone and your abs come through, you're like, oh my God, what is this? You're going to have definition. You're supposed to. You're going to see your abs. You're supposed to. But again, it depends on the degree of definition that we're doing. Are we doing a little bit of ab etching? Are we doing full-blown six-pack with a V? It really, really depends. But as far as healing, again, we have had extra layers of work done. We are not doing aggressive things to heal. We need to do extra gentle things to heal. We need to do manual lymphatic drainage, which is very gentle. We need to heal the body in a more gentle way. Think about if you have just a regular cut on your hand, right? It'll take like 4 or 5 days. It'll go away. That's fine. But if you take a knife and like gouge it in there, that's a deep cut. You're going to need stitches. It's going to take longer. It's going to swell more. You're going to have to not use your hand now and be really gentle and wrap that puppy up. It's going to require a lot more care and attention. So your high definition liposuction is going to require a lot more care and attention because your surgeon during surgery is spending a lot more care and attention to define those areas and define those things and spend time doing the actual art form of liposuction to make sure that vase not only comes out as a vase, but has those detailed little flowers in there. So we want to be really gentle when we're healing that. So recap the whole thing. High definition liposuction is a form or a technique of liposuction that generally uses some sort of energy-based assisted lipo tool, right, or machine. So Vaser lipo is one of the things. Vaser Lipo uses ultrasound energy, and it goes in there and it loosens up the fat and makes it easier to come out. And it can also get another layer closer to the skin so that we can do that high definition. What is high definition when we're talking about lipo? High definition is where we are creating negative space by taking out a little bit more fat in certain lines and certain areas in between your muscles, around your muscles, so that when you heal, your muscles poke through, giving you definition. Healing from high definition liposuction requires a little bit more care and is a little bit more delicate. We are not digging into the body. The carvings and the lines have already been made. We do not need to continue carving them out after surgery. We do not need to continue, especially while we're swollen and it's trying to heal, digging our finger in there, taping rods to our stomach, using pencils, using giant strips of foam to tape into the carving out areas of the high definition. We don't need to do any of that. We just need to be gentle as it heals. That's it. The carvings of the high definition are already there. We do not need to do anything aggressive to try and carve the body out even more as we're in the healing process. Garments and foams, the same way with regular lipo. Manual lymphatic drainage massages, the same way with regular lipo. You may need a few more sessions at the end to clear out the extra swelling from the extra work that happened during the lipo. I think that's it for today, guys. If you have had high definition liposuction, where you're looking for abs, you're looking for the sculpting, but you have fibrosis, because again, it's very common with high definition liposuction to have fibrosis. It is another layer of lipo in your body. So if you still have fibrosis, if you still have swelling from your high definition liposuction, which does happen all the time, you can set up a virtual with me if you have questions or if you need help. So we are located in New Jersey. I am located in New Jersey, Highland Park and Elizabeth. So if you guys are in Jersey and need help, give the office a call, 732-841-0142. If you are not located in New Jersey, I do virtuals. So I will still, even though I'm not doing the massage, I can find you someone and tell you to tell them what to do specifically for you to make sure that we're getting the swelling out properly. And also check your garment, check your foams, tell you how to take care of this to reverse the fibrosis and get the swelling out. So I do virtuals. 732-841-0142. Call the office. Happy Alex will be happy, as always, to help you figure out what you need as far as a session. If you want to come in, if you want to do a virtual, she can get you set up with that, answer some basic questions about the sessions and the process. If you guys need foams, not all lipo foams are created equal. And they're not all medical grade either. Our foams in our post-op shop, which is link in the bio of our Instagram, and it's on our YouTube. It's everywhere. Amare, A-M-A-R-E, postopshop.com. On there, you will find the foams with a video teaching you how to use them. You will find the post-op cream that is completely anti-inflammatory and organic and all the wonderful things. You could find that on there as well, and that's going to help with healing from this post-lipo situation, and a bunch of other stuff too. All the other healing things that you need for lipo regularly. So check those out. On every product page, there is a video explaining the product and how to use it. So that's going to be super helpful. But yeah, the things you would need if you're still having fibrosis and swelling from the post-op shop would be the foams and the post-op cream. Those would be the two things I would suggest the most, that you wouldn't even need to see me for a virtual. Just put the foams in your garment, use the cream twice a day, rub it on the area exactly how I instruct you to in the video, and yeah, it should get better. If it doesn't, there's something else causing it. But there's always ways to make it better. Fibrosis is just swelling that got stuck. And you can still be swollen 6 to 8 months after surgery, especially when we're talking about several layers of lipo at one time. So give the office a call if you need me. If you DM or email, we will tell you to call the office. So just call the office. And that's it for today, guys. I hope this was helpful. I will see you guys soon. Ashley with Amare. Bye.